Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. So, I want to talk about something super important today. And, well, first, I should make sure you guys can actually hear me, right? Before I get started. That would be important. Oh, it looks like you guys can. Perfect, perfect. Okay, so this morning, what we're going to talk about is um, creating posts in your community that connect with your members and that convert. Hey, Amy. Hey, Chris. So, in order, um, to get sales in your group, you have to be able to connect with your members and create posts that convert. So, a lot of people out there are not, I don't even know how to explain it. All these group experts out there are, doing everybody a disservice because they're basically saying, hey, if you go and you pound the pavement in your group and you put up posts with your offer, hey, Kenny, how are you? We're talking this morning about how to create posts in your group that connect with your members and convert to actual sales. So what's happening, and the biggest mistake that I see with the advice that all these people that claim to be group experts, they're talking about putting up posts that have calls to action and list of what your product does and all these crazy things, and they're saying that that's how you're going to get sales in your community. Those are things, they say that that's how you're going to get your members to engage and all that, but they're doing everybody a disservice because they're not telling you what's beneath that. And honestly, some of these things that you and I are going to talk about and that we talked about last week, they're not even aware of. So what they're doing is they're just blanket targeting their members with posts of, hey, buy my stuff or whatever, putting up memes and gifs and these silly posts of let's do a follow train, so that way they can get as much engagement as possible on their posts and get their members to see what they're putting up. But they have no real strategy behind these posts that they're putting up. They don't even know who they're targeting, so that's why we really have to talk about this, so you guys know how to really hit home and connect with the people in your community and get those posts to convert to sales and people climbing up your value ladder and buying the things that you're selling in your community and what you have to offer. So like we talked about last week, in your community you have people that are in different parts of their life cycle of membership. So awesome, Chris. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So, what's happening is instead of just putting up posts like all these other group owners do, where you're just blanket targeting everybody, you want to look at these four things we've got here on the screen. You want to separate between the four types of members that you have. You've got novices, you've got inactive members, active members, and super members. So that means that you can't target all four of those people in each and every post. So that means you're going to be rotating the sort of posts that you put out. And like we talked about, the people that have just joined your group, those are, the novices and inactive members, they're going to respond to the simple, sillier things of, hey, let's all follow each other on social media, or what's your favorite GIF, or things like that. I mean, those things aren't bad and we all need to do them. But you have to know that when you're doing those things, you're specifically, targeting the people that are novices and active members, people that are just new in your group, they're getting comfortable, So you need those things in your community and you need them on a daily basis, but those are targeted specifically at those people that you're warming up. And then, you're going to have posts that are going to be toward your active members. And the posts that are toward the active members are what we call give and ask posts. So you're basically giving them some education, but then you're also giving them, or that sounds silly, I'm saying give. You're asking them to go ahead and take some action. So whether it's opting in to your freebie, or say you've got like an e-commerce offer, a free plus shipping, or buy two get one free, things like that, asking them to take some sort of action So that way they're hopping on your email list or taking advantage of an offer you have, or even if you have a free training, whatever it is that you want to ask them to do. Educate them a little bit and then ask them to do something. Those are for your core audience that are your active members. They're going to respond to those sort of things. Then your super members, those are the ones that are just dying to buy, anything you've got because they've been with you for a long time and they know that everything you give is super, super valuable and you're going to come through. Those are the people that are going to jump on anything. And those are the ones that will respond to the post that you have where you say, hey, I've got XYZ to offer. These are all the amazing things, about it. And this is why you should grab it. That's what, your super members are going to respond to. So, basically anyone that's telling you that there's just one method for how you should post in your community is doing a disservice and doesn't know what they're talking about, because you've got these 4 different segments of your audience that you really have to speak to and to speak to separately. So I just want to, we'll jump in a little bit here too of what each of these groups are. I'll give you guys this PDF again. I think I had posted it in the group previously. It just defines the difference between the new members, the inactive, the active, and the super members. So that way you can kind of quantify where people are at. The new ones, they're kind of lurking. They're not really engaging. You're going to have to pull them out. And even we were talking about in the Facebook run community that we have for the managed partners. What can you do to get those lurkers out, and specifically calling them out and saying, hey, those of you that aren't posting and aren't responding, why is that? What can we do to help you and to serve you? We've been really kind of ideating, more things that can be done to pull those people out of their shell and to get them participating in your communities. So then you've got the inactive members who are basically, they're basically enjoying all the posts you put up, all the videos, all your content, but they're not really responding. And that's why those insights that we talked about yesterday were super, super important, because in your group insights, you're going to see how many people viewed a certain post or how many people viewed a certain video. And that's going to tell you that you've got a whole lot of inactive members that aren't commenting or posting or liking, sharing, loving any of those sort of reactions, but they're in there and they're consuming it and they're really enjoying it and they're consistent. So that's why you really have to, keep an eye on those group insights, download those every week and kind of compare, because you'll see that people are loving what you've got, even if they don't respond. I've had people that have, followed my stuff for 6 months, a year and a half, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I love this. I've been following this and every video you do. And they love it, but they didn't tell me for a year and a half that they've been watching every single video I do and they're enjoying it. So you really have to look at your group insights and make sure that you're checking out who are those people that are watching your videos and, viewing all your posts, because they're probably loving the content that you have, but they're still inactive members and they're not at that point where, they're engaging or they're commenting or anything like that. Then you've got your active members. Those are the ones who actually start replying and commenting to the questions that you have and start helping out other members and, really kind of bolstering the community. Then, of course, like we talked about, the super members who really are your advocates and your ambassadors. When new people come in, oops, sorry about that. My son is downstairs with my husband and he's pretending to be a dinosaur as usual. So your super members, they're your ambassadors. They're promoting everything you do. They're loving it, and they scoop up any offer that you have because they've been with you so long that they know you provide, tons of value and that you're going to come through. So it's really important to know who you're targeting specifically on your posts. Super, super important. So then the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to dig a little bit deeper and also talk about, the disservice people are doing that are saying, they're group experts and they know exactly how you should post and what you should say, that they're targeting their communities just as one big chunk and they're not segregating people into the fact that they're unique and they all have different personalities, so like I said, in this Facebook partner testbed that I'm in, we've really been digging deep on how you connect with your audience and, how you can make sure that your content resonates with different people and get it to convert. And, what I brought to the community and discovered is that you actually want to post based on the differences in the personalities of your members. So what does that mean? It's not really as complicated as it seems. It's just that there's basically, 4 different types of personalities, and some people, they love those concrete aspects of, what does your product do? How is it going to help me? What are the benefits to me? But then there are other people that don't really care about that stuff, and they're going to respond and they're going to convert and purchase when you're talking about whatever it is, this lifestyle that you're creating for them. If you're taking them away from the 9 to 5, to have freedom and work however they want. Some people are going to respond to that and they don't really care about the attributes of your product. And then you've got other people that are really going to respond to how your product makes them feel, or whatever you're selling, whether it's your coaching or your services, or you've got something physical. How does it make them feel? How's it going to change their state? How's it going to elevate their status? What are those differences in their state that your product is going to give them? Those things are super, super important. So what I've basically discovered is that in each post, you want to cover, those 4 different segments, because people have these different personalities, and if you basically are always posting where, hey, here's my offer, it does XYZ, these are whatever, this is my domino statement, you can do XYZ without, ABC. If you're always using that formula, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're only going to get a small portion of your members. But what I figured out is that if you post and you're actually in each post, if you're speaking a little bit to those 4 different personality types, you're actually going to get a ton more people to convert, So speak to the attributes of your product, speak to the change in state, the elevation of status, and where it's taking people from and where they're going to. Because for some people, the whole thing for them is just about getting away from their current situation into that, ideal situation that they've been dreaming about. So if you encompass, those 4 aspects for the 4 different personalities in your post, you're just going to get so many more people to convert. So I've actually got a pretty cool formula that I created for that. So I'll give that to you guys today. And I'll post that here in the group so you can have that. And you'll be off to the races, really. It's just, it baffles me that, all these people are out there claiming to be, group experts at growing and converting communities, and they know nothing about this stuff, that you've got members that you have to consider your life cycle of your members. You got people in 4 different segments when they come into your community. You've got to speak to them where they're at, and you have to speak to them, based on their personality type and what those key triggers are that are going to get them to convert. And like I said, those break down into quantifiable things. It breaks down into where it is you're taking them, how you're elevating their status, and emotionally what sort of change of state that you're giving them. If you do these simple things, you're going to get so many more people in your community that are going to convert and are basically going to ascend themselves up your value ladder. I mean, that's the whole point here too, of speaking to people where they're at in their life cycle, in your Facebook group, because if you do that, you're basically taking them, along that journey, which is what we kind of used to call the consumption sequence when you were sending out the emails and taking people from like your tripwire offer all the way up your value ladder of everything you've got for them. You need to do that same thing in your community, but it's a matter of this diagram that I've got here as far as where they're at in their life cycle. You're giving them the novice offers when they first come in. You're doing things that are, fun and simple to get them engaged, get them to share what their community is about or what their own products are about, and basically taking that through them through that evolution so that you've got this, group full of super members. And honestly, if someone is a super member, then at that point, they're going to be ascending themselves into your higher level group that's a paid group. So if you've got a free group and you've got super members, they're ascending into the paid group. If you've got super members in your paid group, then they're probably ascending to your next high ticket offer group, where you're working with them more closely, or you've got something that's a lot deeper that you're offering them, So I mean, basically the recap here is speaking to members where they're at. There's 4 different stages in the life cycle of being a member, and I'll give you guys this PDF. It goes into everything a lot deeper of knowing where people are at and how to target that. And then, speaking to the 4 core personality types that people have, and making sure that the posts that you craft just, resonate with those 4 core aspects that we talked about. And it's super simple. You'll be amazed at how many more people are engaging with your posts and how quickly the offers that you're putting out convert. And you don't have to just use these in your community. You can use these posts, on your page or your profile. Be thinking about this, about, hey, everybody's got a different type of personality, and there's things that are quantifiable, emotional, things that change state and elevate status. Those all resonate with different people. So always be thinking about that with the posts that you put up in your community and the posts that you put up on your profile, because it's also actually, it kind of correlates with what's on your profile as well. You're going to have the same thing. People that have just become friends with you, that they're at that novice stage. People that have been around with you for a while and are consuming your content, but not really commenting on your post. Those would be inactive friends. And then the ones that start commenting, active friends, and then super friends would be the ones that are, putting a GIF on everything you got, or jumping on every offer and every single thing you say. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I will go ahead, and after I wrap up here, I'll upload the PDF for you, so that way you guys have that, and the framework that I said for the personality posts, and you guys should be all set. I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys tomorrow. If you have something else you want me to dig a little bit deeper on tomorrow, I can do that. I know Erin had asked me a bit more about, copywriting and the actual crafting of the post. So maybe that's what I'll do specifically tomorrow, is I'll use the principles that we just talked about here today and kind of show you how to put them into actual posts. All right. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will be back again tomorrow.